Hello, this is Deborah Cohen. Thank you for joining me on my podcast, A Story and a Song. And today is part 3 of a 3-part series on the importance of singing, why we need to sing, that everybody has a voice to sing from the soul. So if this interests you, it's based in biblical and teachings from Judaism. But it's also for Christians, anybody that is spiritual. So if you can find a place to listen undistracted, maybe take notes, I'll be right back after this message. Hello, this is Deborah Cohen Music, and I'm so glad that you took the time to listen to my podcast, A Story and a Song. It's about my life, to share some wisdom and some mistakes, hopefully that we can learn from together and laugh at maybe, starting in the 80s in a new wave rock band in Boston with 2 singles that are still available on Spotify. Boston Nights and Dreamin'. And then on my worldly journey that we're all on, I morphed into a spiritually dominant being where I am a truth seeker and write songs of praise while having one foot in the world writing sync music. So listen up and share. And this is Deborah Cohen, and it's Memorial Day weekend 2024. So right off the bat, before I forget to tell you, I have a new book on Amazon, and the ebook will be available for free on Memorial Day Monday only on Amazon. The name of the book is Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. And, I've been getting some feedback from people that are writing reviews, and every author needs good reviews. I'm getting mixed reviews. I think we've got some haters in there that are putting their 2 cents worth, which is unfortunate, which means that I rely on those that are fair, pro-Israel people to check out the book and write a good review, please, just to help me as a new author. And let's see, if you don't believe that the words that I'm writing are true, which they are, nonfiction, true, documented truth, I've had a lot of pro-Palestinians say that it's all lies. Well, you know what? How about if I get a little backup from another author that's writing pro-Israel, more or less, in a nonfiction book. It's written by a Palestinian, actually. His name is Mossab Hassan Youssef, and I think you can pre-order his book on Amazon now. So just look for his book, From Hamas to America. And so if you don't believe me, then there's another book that's written by a Palestinian who is saying the same thing that I am, more or less. So sometimes, people believe lies because it's easier, but the truth does hurt sometime, but is the truth. So get those 2 books. Mossab's book is not free. He works for his own book, but I'm just putting it in there as a plug for him because I'm recommending his book. And you can do the same thing for mine. Again, the title is Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. Both books are for sale on Amazon. And let's see, I think I might even have an ad before we begin teaching. Let me see if this is it. I'll play it, and if it's not, I'll try to find it later. We do what we can to make this world a better place if we have love in our hearts. So one way of dealing with today's hate against the Jews and Israel is to provide knowledge in the form of an ebook entitled Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. It's on Amazon, in ebook, and soon to be available in paperback to get into today's classrooms, to stop this senseless hatred toward other human beings. This book is inspired by the documentary Birth of a Conflict. This ebook is a summary of events that led up to the Jewish Palestinians regaining their land, and why the Arab Palestinians did not achieve statehood at the time of the British mandates. Through a series of testimonies made available through audio recordings from the Palestinian police and by interviews recorded in a secret British document that was discovered in the UK, we can finally understand how this conflict began in the Middle East. This is a must-read for every person engaged in discussions today about the Muslim-Jewish conflict. Look for it today on Amazon.com. Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict by author Deborah Cohen. Okay, so this is Deborah Cohen, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so we're talking about singing. This is part 3, and there's a lot of reasons why you would want to sing. I've discovered them in my life, and I want to share them with you as a singer because I know how fulfilling it is to sing. But in this lecture, Rabbi Polen shared Rabbi Shapira's sublime insight about music, which explains the tenderness of the nigun. And the nigun is a wordless melody in Judaism. Quote, every time you sing a melody, you enter a world where you retain a sense of just enough emergence of distinct notes to be able to have awareness of them, but the melody does not devolve into the hierarchical, graded, judgmental, comparative world we live in most of the time. Music enables me to be able, in a world where I am aware of distinct entities, but without creating much distance between them. This is a world with supple, seamless, energetic, dancing movement between one entity and another in a way that doesn't divide, but unites. I can vouch for that. That's what music allows us to do. A nigun should be a spiritual vehicle that transforms every aspect of your soul and mine. It should be a process of removing the calcification, of exfoliating the soul, of creating a sacred place. When you end a nigun, you should be in a much richer, deeper place than you were at the beginning. Listen to the silence. It will be transformative and repercussive. Whoa, I could chew on that for a little while, could you? One of my enjoyable Shabbat activities is searching the internet for Kabbalat Shabbat services from different synagogues. It's a way of keeping my Judaism fresh, as described in the Kavanah link of this website, devekut.com. B'nai Yeshurun in New York is a favorite, being so aesthetically pleasant in its rich mix of melodies, styles, tempos, and instruments. They're superbly... Oh, let's have some more. Hang on. That was a goof on my... That was what they call a blooper. I can't believe more coffee, please. Let's try that word again. Okay, yes, I'm fluent in English. Okay. Their superbly creative versions of Lecha Dodi, Shalom Aleichem, and Yedid Nefesh are superb. Okay. And apparently the service also has a rendition of Achot Ketana that he could listen to in perpetuity. Okay, Romemu, also in New York. These are synagogues that we're recommending to check out their Kabbalat Shabbat services. Is led by Rabbi David Ingber, who brings creativity to every aspect of its services. So if you're going to a blasé Shabbat service, you might want to check out others online, because if you go to just like this rabbi said, if you go to a synagogue or a church service and you don't experience an uplifting transformation of some degree, then that's not speaking to your heart. So why would you even go if you're not feeling uplifted? That's the key. And it's an uplifting from the heart and the mind. You get knowledge in the mind, but the uplifting of the heart, you feel lighter in your footsteps. Your posture improves even if you're really uplifted. Okay. I especially enjoy various versions of Moda'ani to begin the morning, and he names one there. Let's do Moda'ani together. I say Moda because it's feminine, but if you're a man, you say Moda'ani, right? Moda'ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Moda'ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Moda'ani lefanecha. Moda'ani lefanecha. And in Judaism, we start out every morning singing, hopefully, or speaking that prayer out loud, thanking God for giving us a new day. Okay. Benjamin Zander, director of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra, personifies the joy that is so central to Judaism. When I imagine the Baal Shem Tov, he's one of my favorite teachers, who taught that life should be filled with joy and simple pleasures, I see and hear someone like Zander in the book 9.5 Mystics. Sounds like let me write that down. I need to put that on my wish list for books that I want to read. Okay, it's by Benjamin Zander. Benjamin Zander, Zander, and the book is called, and it's all spelled out, 9.5, HALF, Mystics, MYSTICS. All right, as an author myself, we're asked to recommend books and tell people what we read so you can get an idea of what kind of an author I am, and hopefully you're interested in or have read my book, Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. Okay. In the book 9.5 Mystics, Herbert Weiner, upon meeting Hasidic in Yerushalayim, wrote, quote, "There was something in the eyes of the smile, evidence of a process whereby matter is somewhat refined and transmuted by spirit." That precisely has been the aim of Hasidism. Not to despise or to leave the body, no, but to refine it so that an inner light could show through, end quote. Oh, yes, I must put in a pitch for my English speakers that are listening. This book here, if you're wondering about the world of Hasidism, this is like my favorite. This is like my Bible book right here. It's called The Siddur Illuminated by Hasidus. This book is wonderful. It's got so much spiritual treasure in it, and I thank the rabbi that told me to get this book. I can't remember his name, but kudos to you, Rabbi. That will help you to like really understand your spirit. Every one of us has a spirit inside. How do I know that? Well, when we pass away, that spirit leaves the body. The physical body stays, but you, the real me, is that spirit inside. Are you feeding your soul? Well, that's a great book to feed your soul with. Okay. Because that's a Hasidic book, and this reading says that precisely has been the aim of Hasidism, not to despise or leave the body, but to refine it so that an inner light could show through. Xander shows his inner light and uncovers it in others too. Whoa, isn't that like amazing? So that's just a little tidbit today to tell you that we need to not only feed our physical bodies, but our spiritual bodies with truth. So equip yourself for the calling. Study to show yourself approved. All these things, once you are a spiritual being, whether your path right now is in Christianity or Judaism or whatever, we're on a journey, a spiritual journey. And if you and I are the same as we were yesterday, then we're not feeding our soul enough, because there's transformation when you sing from your soul. And if you're not sure, or if I didn't really explain it in this version 3 of 3 on how to sing from the soul, then I guess you'll have to go back to version 1 and 2 and where I explain it in more detail. But singing from the soul is magical. And we all have the ability, but it takes time to find it, to connect with it, to experience it. And it's not like singing with accuracy. Of course, you want to do your best. That's where singing lessons come in, and ear training, right? You don't want to be singing off key, especially if you're singing with other people. Remember that music fosters unity, so that means you're not singing by yourself. You can when you're practicing, but the goal is to sing with a group of people. And it's magical when you're all singing together, because all of a sudden, you don't just hear your voice. You got to learn how to use volume control when you sing in a group. But you can actually hear everybody's voice at the same time. And that's like so amazing. And you feel like all of that schmutz from everyday living, that, what did I read earlier? I got to try to remember that. The schmutz, the outer shell, I call it the klipa for those that study Hasidism. But it's come on, I just read it. Okay. It's just a transformation. Okay, yes, again. It's a process of removing the calcification. Like you come in off the streets into a praise service and you feel the world. And if you're really worldly, you talk about worldly things because you don't realize, you don't have an awareness that you're stepping into a house of prayer, that God's in the house, hopefully. And when you're spiritually attuned, like I read earlier, you're not separated from the world, but you are aware that there is a higher entity, God, in the house. So your words are sensitive to that knowledge. But if you're not aware, when you come into to God's house and he's waiting with love to greet you, and all you do is ignore him or her, whatever you think God is, and start talking about all your problems. That's not where you do it. That's so sad. I think that's why God said in his Bible, come into the house of prayer with joy in your hearts and thanksgiving. If you come into a Shabbat service, even if you've lost a loved one, heaven forbid, but we're commanded to come in with joy so we can have an experience with God. So when you sing, stop making excuses about how you can't sing. Go get some lessons, or go get some ear training, or go change your friends that are telling you can't sing. You got to change your mental awareness. That's mental health, so that you can find that soul voice within you. Why? Because when you sing, you remove the calcification, that hard outer shell, that heaviness, that klipa, and you exfoliate your soul, creating a sacred space. I like that. I got to remember, if somebody says, why are you singing with so robust or so loudly or so exuberantly or so expressively, I'll just say, I'm exfoliating my soul. I love it. Okay, so sing away, and please subscribe to my podcast, A Story and a Song. And don't forget to get my free ebook on Memorial Day Monday only. This is 2024 in case you're watching it a year later. Go to Amazon.com and do a book search for Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. And that'll help you to understand the truth about the Palestinians. Not that we hate them. No, we don't. We love them. But, they're mostly Jew haters. And the reason why they've been offered land in the past, which is what my book is about, you'll find out why they never got statehood. So their leaders didn't want the Jews to exist. That a leader in particular, who was rubbing elbows with Hitler, wanted the Jews exterminated. That's why they didn't want statehood with the land offered to them. They wanted Israel and to wipe the Jews off the map. And there are people there today that still want the same thing. They're full of hatred. They want to wipe out the Jews, or they've been brainwashed on campus and told that it's all the Jews' fault, that the Palestinians are refugees. No, if you ask yourself a question, the definition of a refugee is somebody that's been displaced. So and there's a certain time frame for a Palestinian to be a refugee, and that time has expired. So the ones that are born after the original Palestinians that were displaced, which is not Israel's fault, by the way, they're not refugees, but they hang on to the title. I'm like, hello, that doesn't make sense. And then UNRWA, don't let me get started on UNRWA, a specific branch of the UN that was created to specifically take care of the displaced Palestinians. But they don't take care of them. So, why don't you get on their case instead of blaming the Jews? There are Hamas. Palestinians voted for Hamas. Hamas is not taking care of their own people right now. Why don't you get on Hamas's case instead of the Jews? So the Jews are the scapegoat. Anyway, if you don't believe me or my book, then again, I recommend a book that's just coming out now by a Palestinian. His name is Mossab Hassan Youssef. His book is From Hamas to America. He also is telling the truth. And if you don't have a different mindset after reading these two books, then you need to sing. Sing, not sings of murder and hate. Sing to God and ask God to change your hate to love, because we are commanded to love one another. Let's get rid of this hatred, people. Okay, enough of this preaching. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget to get my book and my music, DeborahCohenMusic.com. And let's see. I'll ask for a nice book review because, authors need a lot of reviews. And Gilvan Rodriguez just joined on Instagram just as I'm leaving. I'm sorry. I don't know if you Lo siento, Gilvan, or I don't know how to say. How do I say I'm sorry in Hebrew? I don't know what you speak, Gilvan, but I just left. So you're going to have to watch the reruns. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. This is Deborah Cohen, showing you how easy it is to do a book review on Amazon for my new book, Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. You can comment on Kindle hardcover, paperback, or maybe all three. The difference in the hardcover is it's in color, whereas the Kindle is black and white, and so is the paperback. So once you find the listing by doing a search on Amazon, Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, you scroll down to the bottom past the product details. You can even show or create a video of yourself holding the book, which is very cool, and telling what you like about the book. Here are the reviews so far, a week after the book has been released. Simply give me, hopefully, 5 stars. And as my friend, family, and people that support Israel, this is a way to give 5 minutes of your time to do something for Israel, because it increases exposure to this book, which talks about the origins of Israel and Palestine and how Israel is Israel today and the state of Palestine is not, based on documentary historical facts. Let's fight the propaganda war together. Take 5 minutes and help the author and help Israel now.